What's up, everyone? Welcome into Dodger Heads presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel. I am glad you're joining us today because I've got a story that probably is the number one thing I am asked about whenever we do these shows, which is Liam Hendriks and the Dodgers. What do you think? So let's talk about it briefly. The question that comes to mind when I think about Liam Hendriks is this. If the playoffs were to start, if the Dodger roster were to remain unchanged and end up in the playoffs, which area of the roster would you be most concerned about as a Dodger fan? I think the lineup is stacked, even if they didn't touch anything. The rotation is solid with two guys you feel great about and kind of a pool of four others who you're like, whatever, as long as we find two starters out of these four, we're good. And so the obvious answer then is the bullpen. And yes, I would always argue against people, the Dodgers are deep in the bullpen. Like their 12th best reliever is a quality arm. But the problem is the Dodgers bullpen right now is more of a quantity over quality situation. They have good pitchers, but no great ones. And so as far as I'm concerned, the only name on the free agent market who would change that is Hendriks. Hendriks is a 31-year-old who everyone assumed the Dodgers would be interested in, but initial reports said that they had yet to make contact. However, this week, Jeff Passan noted that the Dodgers have started to pursue Hendriks and saying that he is looking for a 4-year contract. So obviously the Dodgers would love to have Hendriks, but let's ask, who is Liam Hendriks, and is he worth 4 years at probably more than $10 million a year? Now, Passan notes Hendriks has been the best closer in baseball the past 2 years, and it's probably not that close. 2019, 1.8 ERA, 2020, 1.78 ERA. His FIP is actually lower than that over the average of those 2 years. He's put up 5.3 wins above replacement in just 99 appearances. He strikes out over 13 batters per 9 innings, has a low walk rate, has 39 saves for the Oakland A's. And if you go beneath the surface at kind of some of the nerdier numbers, it's more of the same. His expected ERA, on base average, slugging percentage is all elite. The percentage of times the percentage of time players get a barrel on the ball against him is elite. His whiff percentage is elite. I mean, this guy struck out 40% of the batters he faced last season while walking just 3.3%. Okay, think about that. His strikeout rate was over 40% and his walk rate was just over 3. Now, he's a four-seam fastball guy as well, which Andrew Friedman has noted he wants to get some different looks out there. The Dodgers last year kind of were heavy two-seam guys, so having a four-seamer would be interesting. Hendriks throws the four-seamer 70% of the time. He throws it about 96 mile an hour. Also has a slider and a curve. Both of those have whiff rates over 50%. So again, obviously, we are talking about an elite bullpen arm. So again, in a world where money and contracts don't matter, of course the Dodgers would want him. But the question then is he worth a 4-year commitment? Now, Hendriks turns 32 in February, so this contract would end when he turns 36, which is getting up there. I mean, we all look at Kenley Jansen as a guy whose velocity is declining and at the end of his career. Okay, Kenley Jansen is 16 months older than Liam Hendriks. And some say, well, Liam Hendriks is fresh, he has less innings. Yes, but it's like 120 less innings. We're talking about 2 years fresher than Jansen. So I love Hendriks, but I'll admit that the 4-year commitment idea has me worried. I'm curious if that's maybe why he hasn't signed. Maybe he has some 2- and 3-year offers out there, but the 4-year thing hasn't come through. But all that said, if I'm looking at the Dodgers farm system, I don't see an obvious internal option at closer that is guaranteed to appear sometime soon. Now, a lot of people want it to be a guy like Brusdar Graterol. Graterol just turned 22, and we've seen the stuff, but there's a lot of pitcher growth that needs to happen, whether it's sequencing, whether it's placement, whatever it is, there needs to be a shift a little bit. And maybe there's guys like Caleb Ferguson or Victor Gonzalez or Julio Urias, but again, none of that is guaranteed. So at the end of the day, if posed with the question of giving Hendriks the bag, I ultimately still think I would come down on the side of do it. Kenley Jansen do $20 million this year, then is a free agent. Joe Kelly, $8 million this year, then is a free agent. Corey Knebel do $5 million this year, then is a free agent. They've already shed Blake Treinen's $10 million. Baez is $4 million. Alex Woods, $4 million. So why not pool some of that money together and go supplement the young, cheap depth that you have with an elite arm? You know, a window to win championships is never guaranteed to remain open. And so if I'm the Dodgers, I've got Corey Seager under contract. I've got Bellinger. I've got Buehler. I've got Kershaw still producing. I say full send with Liam Hendriks. And one last note, Kenley Jansen. I've mentioned this before, but I'm actually worried that the Kenley Jansen situation is going to be a bit of drama this year. I still think he believes he's the best option the Dodgers have. And honestly, the way that they're currently constructed, that's not a total stretch for him to believe. I think the only way he would ever accept a demotion of any kind is if it became abundantly clear that there was a better option out there. The only way that happens is if they go out and get someone like Hendriks or trade for someone. So if you just run it back with this group or go add a guy like even Blake Trinan back to the group, I think Jansen's going to have a hard time looking around and saying, I'm not the best option. You bring in Hendriks, who has been the best closer in baseball for 2 straight years. I think that changes. So even, and I'll say this, I don't think that's a guarantee to work, but I think it's the only chance of Jansen accepting a role other than closer without kicking and screaming on the way out. So for me, you pay for it with Liam Hendriks, you figure out the rest later, you take advantage of the window while you've got it, and you see what happens. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Would you give Liam Hendriks a 4-year contract of more than $10 million a year? Do you hold firm at 3 years? Let us know below. Of course, check out DodgerBlue.com. We'll have all the latest rumors and reports, so make sure you're subscribed to us on social media, DodgerBlue1958. And if anything happens, we'll be the first ones here to have analysis of it for you. So we appreciate you joining us. Be sure to check out our videos, DodgerBlue1958 on YouTube, and we will see you soon.